So I bought another car, and of course it is a Mark 1 Audi TT. Yes, it is. I was not going to buy anything else. Let's be realistic about it. Not for the time being anyway. Now, completely factory standard car. Quick quiz. What does that mean? You guessed it. That means it's a 3.2 and a DSG, of course, because I have a special foot so I can drive this one. I'll tell you what, I'll do a quick video around it so you can see it, and then we'll jump straight in and do some mileage and have a talk about the car, shall we? So let's start with the story of how I came to get this TT. So this is a 3.2 DSG 53 plate Audi TT Mark 1 in Glacier Blue. Current mileage 91,473. So it's a fairly low mileage car. Now it has had 8 owners. I think, to be honest, something that's 21 years old, do you know what I mean? It's not the worst thing in the world. It's got a fair history with it, which is always good, especially the last few years, the most important ones. So, story about the car. I had only posted the video for one day, saying that I was breaking the ASBO, the silver AET 381, the forged one. And Alan, the guy that owned this car, dropped me an email saying, oh, hey Dom, looking to sell my car, got 2, retiring, only want 1. Do you know anyone interested? And I, as a rule, will always apply to everyone saying, look, send me some details, price, spec, that kind of stuff, because I must get 5 or 10 messages a day saying, hey Dom, looking for a good TT, have you heard of any, blah, blah, blah. So it's always nice if someone says to me, oh yeah, I'm looking for a 3.2 for, say, 3 grand, and then someone messages me saying, oh, I've got a 3.2 for 3 grand, then magic. Someone who watches the channel and someone who watches the channel. So it's nice, because obviously they're looking into, hopefully they'll have done what needs to be done, and the person buying it will get a nice car. So I said, cool, yep, send me some details. So he said, look, it's got a few foibles. I don't really want to just sell it to anyone because the things need doing. Do you want to buy it? And I was like, well, I'm intrigued now. So I said, look, send me what's wrong with it and the price. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't really in the market for a TT. However, a DSG one with my bad foot wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So we conversed over a few emails and a deal was done. I paid what I would say was a good price for it. It was cheap, but it did obviously factor in the fact that I'm going to spend some money on it getting it right. Now, there was a few issues with it, some known, some not known, and I bought it as a sold as seen. Alan was an absolutely top bloke. We've spoken loads since. Still got a TT, so he'll be watching this. Hi, Alan. And yeah, I've worked through quite a few of them. Now, I've had just over 3 months to do that, and I found loads of stuff, typical TT. I went through it front to back, and I just did all the stuff. And a lot of the stuff I did, I haven't filmed because it was all stuff that we've already covered before, and I wanted to do some slightly different videos going forward. Of course, we'll still do some how-tos because this thing, I'm sure, will give us stuff to do. But starting from the front, we replaced the radiator fans because only one of them worked on full speed and neither of them worked on slow speed. And I had no air conditioning. Now, coupes are terrible anyway for getting hot because you only have these 2 windows to open, so there's no real airflow through the car. So aircon for me is an absolute must. and I tested it as soon as I started driving it, and I noticed that with the 49C trick that the temperature was rising, so it wasn't cooling, the fans weren't kicking in. Big problem. So working my way further back, it needed a service, it needed suspension, it needed an exhaust modification, it needed, and just a really good thorough go through. So suspension wise, checked it all. It had wheels and tyres on. They were like a gunmetal grey set, weren't to my taste, and the tyres weren't the best. They were all right, but they weren't the best brand. And I actually had a set of new genuine Ronalds sat on the shelf in the unit, which is handy, so stuck them on. But yeah, the suspension, all original, all completely factory standard, 21 years old, 90,000 miles deep. Every single shock absorber, took it off, pushed it in, stayed in, no suspension. When you went over a bump, it did that, you know, that sort of, as if the shock noise. And it was just a bit naff. All the top mounts were battered. When I took them off, they're all misshapen and squashed. So it made a massive difference. So I did, what have I done? So I've done radiator fans. I had to do the fan control module because the fan control module had failed as well. Full suspension overhaul and a resonator delete on the exhaust, because I didn't want something horrible, but I wanted a little bit of a note. Now you probably won't be able to hear it on the video because the mic is under my beard, but it has a nice rasp to it. It's not offensive. You can drive dead normal, won't even hear it. If you put your foot down, you'll hear it, but it's not horribly loud. So, and that was only 75 quid. I'll post a link in the description for that. Very easy to do as well, on a ramp, of course. And the only other thing that I've done, apart from fitting an armrest, because cruiser, I fitted cruise control. Now, I'd never done it before, and I wasn't in the mood for filming, so I just fitted it. But on a 3.2, it is very simple, because you don't have to take the ECU plug out, pull all the pins out, repin it, and that's a horrible job, which is what we had to do on my 225. On this, it's already wired to the ECU. You just need to wire it to a plug up behind the dash. Now, there's a bit involved. There's a great guide. If anyone wants to do it on a 3.2, send me a message and I can send you the guide I used and some. I obviously used the Bentley manual for the wiring diagram to know the pin out because it wasn't super clear. But I can give you all that detail, not a problem. And then you just need VCDS to enable it, and then it works great. So I've now got aircon, I've got cruise, the suspension's overhauled. Oh, I'd replaced the brakes. How could I forget the brakes? So 3.2 has slightly different, bigger discs, and the pad selection is a bit crap. Now, I wanted something a bit sportier and a bit racier because we're going to go to Scotland next month-ish, beginning of October, and do the North Coast 500, and it's fairly heavy on the brakes. Being an auto, a little bit heavier on the brakes as well. And all the discs, varied levels of wear. There was loads of, like a bar of rust at the top and bottom with just a bit in the middle. At the back, the pads are worn at an angle. So it was due a disc and pads. So I've gone for the EBC disc, and I went for the Mintex M1144s, which are now MRM 1801s, I think they are. And they're sort of like a fast road / track pad, and the more you use them, the better they get, and they are phenomenal. A little bit pricey. I think the pads are about 120, 130 pounds just for the fronts, similar for the back. But it does make a big difference, especially with an automatic, because you're going to have to press on them that bit harder. So I've probably spent about £1,000 on parts, because I bought 2 brand new fans, the full suspension kit, discs and pads all round. Discs and pads on this is not a cheap exercise. On a 225 for original replacement, quite cheap. The discs on this are like £300 each on the front. They're crazy money because they're almost a 2-piece. They're not 2-piece, but they look 2-piece. So anyway, that's the story about the car. That's what I've done to it. It's completely factory standard looking. I've not touched the aesthetics because I'm going to do an Andy Charger. Apart from the exhaust, I'm going to keep it completely standard and just enjoy it for what it is. I might do some little tweaks here and there just to make it better, but arguably I just want a nice, honest TT. Now, we'll take a walk around. Overall, it's actually in very nice condition. The sills are good. There is a tiny bit of bubbling at the front on one of the wings, and there has been some previous paintwork done by someone at some point on the rear bumper, and on the front bumper there's a nice sort of scuff and scratch. But it is just a good, honest car. I mean, a car with this mileage in this condition is probably between, in today's market, £2,500 and £4,000, depending on the service history and who's buying it and how clean it is on the day you come to sell it. So it's a nice car. It could be a little bit nicer, which I'm going to do a few little bits, make it a bit nicer. But on the whole, a very nice car to own. Not been mucked about with. It's had all the sort of the maintenance service you want to do. The chains are still within tolerance. So as long as I keep on top of servicing with good oil and stuff like that, I shouldn't really see any bother going forward. And it will just be an enjoyable car. A couple of road trips a year. That between this and the bike will be quite a nice road trip option. The only thing I do need to get is the tracking done, because since swapping the suspension, the tracking is a tiny bit out, but that is to be expected. Now, you want to get that done as soon as you can after a suspension swap, because you don't want to muller your tyres. It will ruin your tyres. It could wear them unevenly, and then you waste hundreds and hundreds of pounds for no particular reason. So going forward with the channel, I am back. I am going to be doing loads of videos. I'll probably alternate between bikes and cars while the weather's good. I say that with a pinch of salt because the weather is always questionable. But yeah, plans for the car, not really too much. Mainly just sort of keeping it nice. I'm going to do a machine polish and a ceramic coat. I need to get the bodywork done first. Get that touched up and stuff. And then just enjoy it. I want to get a load more of your cars on this channel because I want some TT appreciation. There is people all over the world, and I'll do my best to feature cars from all over the world. Admittedly, I'll only be able to see the ones in the UK for the time being. But if you want to get your car on the channel, you want to show it off, and we'll do a video solely about your car, drop us a message and I'll try and fit you in as I can. It would be great to share what you've done, your cars, low mileage, high mods, low mods, anything it is, with everyone else, because although I've been quiet on socials and not been on YouTube, I've still been answering questions, doing research, looking at stuff on TTs, fixing TTs, and I still absolutely love it. I just wanted a bit of a break from the content creation side of things, because it does get a little bit onerous, and I have got the bikes as well, and I'm really enjoying the bikes, but there's something about cars that you just miss. I think because you can have a friend, you can chat, you can have cold drinks on a nice summer's day, go for a nice drive. There's a lot to be said for it. Plus I can take my daughter in it. She loves going in the car. I wouldn't take her on the bike, but it is just a great place to be. Let me know what you think to my new purchase, my Glacier Blue 3.2. This one is going to be sticking around for some time now, so do not worry. I'm not going anywhere. The car's not going anywhere. Can we hear the exhaust? That's a question. Not really. I should probably put a microphone on the outside or in the boot. I'll try and get some clips at some point. Maybe we'll do a video about the exhaust, how it looks and how you can make it sound a bit nicer on a budget. But yeah, let me know what you think. Would you have had a 3.2 DSG, or would you have had a 180 DSG or automatic? Because that's the only other variant they do. They don't do a 225. I wasn't going to start trying to convert one. Less is more. I want to just be enjoying it, seat time. This one didn't cost me the absolute world, so I don't have to worry about too much about storing it and the cost of owning it and stuff like that. So to be enjoyed. Even everything works on it. The level of detail from Alan was even to the fact that he got a new stereo, all clean buttons, and it just looks fantastic. I've had to do very little to this car, so kudos to Alan for keeping it nice for me. Really appreciated, and I look forward to taking you for a spin in it in the near future. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.